I have given you the idea about the crust, about the mantle, and about the core zones. Okay. Now we'll talk about, in this discussion we'll start our new discussion from the soil. Okay. What is soil? How
Yes.
we can define soil? What is the importance of soil? What is the structure of the soil? What is the soil profile, etc., etc. Okay. So, what is soil? First of all, we'll start from the definition. Okay. What is the soil? What is the soil? Soil is a mixture of organic matter. मी definition सांगतो तुम्हाला. Soil is a
Yes,
mixture
sir.
of organic matter, comma minerals, comma gases, comma liquids and organisms that together support life on the earth. Or soil is a mixture of soil is a mixture of organic matter, minerals, gases, liquids and organisms which support the life on the earth. Okay, this is about the definition. It is about the definition. What it may contain then? Organic matter, minerals, various gases, liquids and organisms. Okay. So Earth's body of soil, Earth, whatever the body is there of the soil from the Earth, which called the pedosphere, called as pedosphere, PEDO, pedosphere. ठीक आहे. आपण पेडोलॉजी असा शब्द वापरतो. इट इज अ लॉजी ऑफ पेडो. पेडो मीन्स व्हॉट? इट इज अबाउट द सॉइल. इट इज अबाउट द सॉइल. Okay. As we use the word geology, it is the logy of geo. So same way, logy of pedo means it is the logy or scientific study of the pedo, means about the soil. So Earth's body of soil called the pedosphere, which has four important functions. Which has four important functions. Which are those four functions? First one is as a medium for the plant growth, as we know. Okay, this is the very good medium for the plant growth. Okay. Second function is as a means of water storage, supply and purification. First is about the plant growth. Second is about the as a means of water storage, supply and purification. Water is supplied through the soil, water is stored in the soil, and water is also purified through the soil. Okay, through the soil by the natural processes. This is about the second function. First function is as a medium for the plant growth. Second, as a means of water storage, supply, and purification. Third function of the soil is as a modifier of Earth's atmosphere. As a modifier of Earth's atmosphere. As we know the nitrogen cycle, as we know the carbon cycle, as we know the different cycles from the ecology or from the ecosystems. So all these are regulated or modified of the Earth's atmosphere and which carried out with the help of soil. And the fourth important function of the soil is as a habitat for organisms. As a habitat for organisms. Like our fundamental needs from where we get food, clothing, shelter, from where we get from the soil itself. Okay. So same way it is a habitat for the organisms. Okay. So all of these functions in that turn modify the soil of and its properties. Okay, vice versa. Water storage, supply and purification, which is carried out by through the soil, and the same water storage and the purification of the same, which provides the good habitat, good conditions or favorable conditions for even to the soil. Because of water retained in the soil, it is a good one, it has the good property, good functions from the water point of the view as well as soil point of the view. If there is absence of water in the soil, what may it results into? It may result into the erosion of soil. Erosion of soil. Vice versa, soil supports the storage or which retains the water in the porous nature of soil, means in the particles of the soil. Okay, so as we know, soil is also commonly referred to as earth or dirt, commonly referred to as earth or dirt. Okay, some scientific definitions distinguish dirt from soil by restricting the term specifically which is displaced by the soil, displaced by the soil. So, so this is about the first part. This is about the first part about the definition and its functions, right? So the pedosphere means it is the sphere of soil. Okay, interfaces with the, means which has one link. Okay, interfaces with the lithosphere, hydrosphere, and the atmosphere with biosphere. It interfaces with the lithosphere, means pedosphere is the word. Okay, because the pedosphere and lithosphere are the different one, right? What is the difference between these two, pedosphere and lithosphere? What do you say, Govind? What is the difference between these two words? Pedos-
Litho
Pedosphere and lithosphere. What is the difference between these two words?
Pedosphere. I think pedosphere is most closer to the earth, ground, and lit-
Okay. And what about the lithosphere then?
lithosphere.
Simple meaning is there. Simple meaning is there. Pedo means it is only about the soil,
Okay,
and litho means it is all about the different layers, including core zone, mantle zone, crust zone, etc. All these. Okay, which
okay,
covers in which cover under the lithosphere, whereas pedosphere is only about the soil.
soil.
Okay, so pedosphere interfaces with the lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere, and the biosphere. Okay,
Okay,
so soil is the product of, what is the soil? Okay, so soil is the product of several factors like the climate influence of climate, comma, relief means about from the elevation, orientation, and the slope of terrain. Okay, so it is the product of influence of climate, okay, organisms, and the soil's parent material, original minerals, as we use the word. Okay, interacting over time means it is the product of influence or reaction or interaction of climate, of the organisms, and the soil's parent material. Okay, interacting over the time means for the formation of soil it may take thousands of the years to form the soil, right? Thousands of the years required to form the soil. Okay, so it continually undergoes development by the way of numerous or various physical, chemical, and biological processes. So it is the part of formation of soil. Okay, so which include weathering with its associated erosion. Okay, with its associated erosion. So soil is formed through the various processes like physical, chemical, and biological processes which include weathering with associated erosion. Okay, erosion. So most soils have a dry bulk density. Okay, most of the soils have a dry bulk density. Okay, between 1.1 and 1.6 gram per centimeter cube. Okay, this is a very important point from the set at net point of the views. Okay, so most of the soils have a dry bulk density between 1.1 and 1.6 gram per centimeter cube. ठीक आहे, पक्क लक्षात ठेवा आणि ट्राय टू गेट द नोट ऑफ इट. while the soil particle density while the soil particle density is much higher. Okay, soil particle density uh, is much higher in the range of 2.6 to 2.7 gram per centimeter cube. ठीक आहे, म्हणजे bulk density जी काही असेल most of the soilची which range from 1.1 and 1.6 gram per centimeter cube, while the soil particle density is much higher in the range of 2.6 to 2.7 gram per centimeter cube. Okay, so soil science has two basic branches. Soil science जी काही असेल which has two basic branches of study. First is the edaphology. First is the edaphology and second is the pedology. Which is the first one? First one is the edaphology. Edaphology, edaphology. And second is the pedology. So edaphology, what is the edaphology? Which studies the influence of soil on the living organism. You should know the difference between these two. Both are the branches of the soil science. So first is means edaphology is concerned with the influence of soils of living on the living things, means impact of the soil on the living things is it is about the edaphology, whereas the second, that is the pedology, which focuses on the formation, description and the classification of soils in the natural environment. ठीक आहे, म्हणजे first edaphology is concerned with it is the scientific study or it is the logy of the soil impact and living things. Okay, and about the pedology which focuses on the formation, description means morphology, okay, and the classification of soils in their natural environment. Okay, so uh, it may have the different functions from the different perspectives. If we talk about the physics, it may have the different roles. If we talk about the environment, it may have the different roles. If we talk about the engineering, it may have the different roles. If we talk about the only agriculture, it may have the different roles. Okay, so the functions or the roles of the soil which may differ or vary area to area, discipline to discipline. Okay, so some of the functions we must know as I have given you in short earlier. Soil which may function as a major component of earth ecosystem, which ranging from which may have the very great impact or ranging from ozone depletion, global warming, rainforest destruction, water pollution, carbon cycle, carbon reservoir, okay, etc. etc. ठीक आहे, ओझोन डिप्लिशनचाही डायरेक्टली कन्सर्न असेल, ग्लोबल वॉर्मिंग असेल, रेन फॉरेस्ट डिस्ट्रक्शन असेल, वॉटर पोल्युशन असेल. सो दीज आर द व्हॉट वी मे से few areas. Not only this, which also plays a very great role to provide a habitat for the soil organisms, for the recycling system of nutrients and organic waste, recycling system of nutrients and organic waste. Okay, then which also provide a very good support for the ecosystem services. Okay, ecosystem services, then to generate carbon or organic carbon and soil organic matter, etc. etc. Okay, and one more which concern with the water holding capacity. Okay, water holding capacity of soil, which has a great role for the plant survival. The plant survival. Okay. So next is about the composition. Next is about the composition. ठीक आहे. व्हिडिओ मोड तुमचे ऑन ठेवा. रेकॉर्डिंग चालू आहे लेक्चरची आपल्या. व्हिडिओ मोड ऑफ का केले तुम्ही? कीप इट ऑन. कीप इट ऑन. Okay. So remember well composition. A typical soil is about 50% solids. How much percent? It is about 50% solids, which may cover 45% minerals and 5% organic matter. याच्यामध्ये काय असतं मीन्स अबाउट द कंपोजिशन. अ टिपिकल सॉइल इज अबाउट 50% सॉलिड्स. त्या 50% पैकी 45% मिनरल अँड 5% ऑर्गॅनिक मॅटर. 45% mineral and 5% organic matter, and remaining 50% voids. Means what? voids. voids त्याचा मीनिंग होतो पोर, म्हणजे जे की पोरोसिटी असा शब्द आपण वापरतो. ओके. of which half is occupied by water and half by gas. ओके. म्हणजे 50% आउट ऑफ दिस मीन्स 25%. टोटल कसं सांगता येईल? 45% mineral matter, 5% organic matter, 25% water, and 25% gas is the actual composition. It is the actual, what we may say, ॲव्हरेज ज्याला आपण म्हणू शकतो. आपण मॅक्रो लेवलवरती जर बघितलं तर असं आपल्याला दिसेल. 45% मिनरल, 5% ऑर्गॅनिक मॅटर, 25% water, and 25% gas. Okay. Then next part is about the soil origins. Okay. Soil profile, which consists of 2 or more layers. In some of the literatures there are 2 layers, in some of the literatures 3 layers, or even some of the literature which may contain 4 to 5 layers, like O, A, B, and C layers. Okay. O, A, B, and C layers. Okay. So remember well, the soil texture. I'm talking about the soil texture. The soil texture, which is determined by the relative proportions of the individual particles of. Okay, the soil texture. ठीक आहे. म्हणजे त्याचं जे काही appearance असेल, which can be called as soil texture. ते आपण ज्याला टेक्स्चर किंवा त्याचा जो काही कलर वगैरे जे शब्द वापरतो. So the soil texture is determined by the relative proportions of the individual particles of sand, silt, and clay. Okay, that makes up the soil. Okay. Sand means ज्याला आपण वाळू टाइप असं म्हणतो, sandy nature. Silt, second part, and clayey nature, which makes up the soil. Okay. So the interaction of the individual mineral particles with the organic matter means that it is the interaction or reaction of the individual mineral particles with organic matter, with water, and gases via biotic or abiotic processes. Okay. Via biotic or abiotic processes, which causes those particles to flocculate. It is flocculation. Okay. Flocculation and sedimentation आपण जे शब्द वापरतो. Flocculate means at the upper zone, and the sedimentation which is at the lower zone. Okay. Flocculate means stick together to form aggregates, where these aggregates can be identified as soil. Okay. A soil can be said to be developed. ठीक आहे. ज्याला आपण मोस्ट प्रोडक्टिव्ह सॉइल ज्याला आपण म्हणतो, such kind of soil which is referred as what the aggregate soil. Okay. And can be described further in terms of color, porosity, consistency, reaction. Reaction means its acidity or the alkalinity nature of the soil. Okay. Are you getting? Are you getting what I want to say? Are you getting me? In some of the
Yes, sir.
in some of the books or in some of the literature, components of the soil which may vary somehow, ज्याच्यामध्ये थोडंसं व्हेरिएशन त्याच्यामध्ये सांगता येऊ शकतं, which is concerned with the sandy soil, silt or clay matter, etc etc. ठीक आहे. So formation, formation, and the formation, I might have given you the formation. Soil formation of reduction is the combined effect of the three processes: physical, chemical and biological processes, which may have the direct or indirect effect of the anthropogenic processes, means artificial processes. Okay. Then physical properties, physical properties of soil. Okay, physical properties of the soil. uh, it may include include in ecosystem services such as crop production, crop production, which is directly dependent on the texture, structure, bulk density, porosity, consistency, temperature, color and resistivity. ओके. जर काही कुठल्या शब्दाचा जर अर्थ लक्षात येत नसेल तर विचारत चला. As I told you, crop production, crop production, which is directly dependent on the texture, structure, bulk density, porosity, consistency, temperature, color, and its resistivity. Okay, so these are the a few, what we may say, important points or important factors where the crop production is dependent on it. ओके, म्हणजे जे की प्रोडक्टिव्हिटी आपण शब्द वापरतो तो बऱ्याच अंशी या गोष्टीवरती अवलंबून असतो: टेक्स्चरवरती, स्ट्रक्चरवरती, बल्क डेन्सिटीवरती, पोरोसिटीवरती, कन्सिस्टन्सीवरती, टेम्परेचर आणि कलर विथ द रेजिस्टिव्हिटी. Okay, so soil moisture is the overall water content which is expressed in terms of volumes or weights. ठीक है, in the volume or weights. ठीक है. Water affects soil formation, structure, stability and erosion. Water affects soil formation, structure, stability, and erosion, which goes through a few of the points. Like it may constitute 80 to 95% of the plants. Plant, then it is essential for the photosynthesis. It is the solvent. It is one of the solvent in which nutrients are carried. ठीक आहे. आणि शेवटचं जे काय आहे, विच प्रोव्हाइड द गुड हॅबिटॅट फॉर द प्लांट्स टू कीप इटसेल्फ इन अ प्रॉपर पोझिशन, कीप्स इट टू द प्रॉपर पोझिशन. ठीक आहे. त्याच्यानंतर वॉटर रिटेन्शन. ठीक आहे. व्हॉट इज द वॉटर रिटेन्शन? What is the meaning of water retention in the soil? What is the meaning of this word?
Capacity of the soil to
Exactly,
capacity of the
exactly.
soil to bound or capture the amount of water.
Exactly. It is like water holding capacity. Okay? Water holding capacity means water retention means for how much time water is retained. Retain म्हणजे त्याला धरून ठेवणं. Water is retained in the soil. Okay? Of the soil. Okay? So it is completely dependent on its nature, as I have informed you. ठीक आहे. ऑर्गॅनिक मॅटर त्यामध्ये जर जास्तीत जास्त असेल, ठीक आहे, ऑर्गॅनिक मॅटर त्याच्यामध्ये जितकं जास्त असेल तितकी त्याची वॉटर होल्डिंग कॅपॅसिटी जास्तीत जास्त असेल. ठीक आहे. अँड व्हाईस वर्सा त्याची जी काही प्रोडक्टिव्हिटी असेल ती सुद्धा या मॉइश्चर कंटेंटवरती आणि त्या ऑर्गॅनिक मॅटरवरती डिपेंडंट असेल. ठीक आहे. त्याच्यानंतर याच्यामध्ये वन मोर इम्पॉर्टंट पार्ट इज देअर कन्सर्न विथ द वॉटर फ्लो. वॉटर फ्लो थ्रू द सॉइल. ठीक आहे. So water moves through the soil due to the force of gravity. Okay, through the force of gravity, osmosis, and capillarity. These are the three important, what we may say, uh, factors which are related with the water flow. Water moves through the soil due to the force of gravity, osmosis, and capillarity. ठीक है, ग्रेविटी तुम्हारा माहिती है, ऑस्मोसिस प्रोसेस तुम्हारा माहिती है, ऑस्मोसिस एंड द capillarity. It is somehow concerned with the porous nature of the soil from the surface to the overall depth of the soil. Okay, so there are there are six factors where water infiltration and movement is a concern. Water infiltration and movement in the soil is controlled by the few factors. Like number one is the soil texture, second is the soil structure, first is the soil texture, second is the soil structure, the third is the amount of organic matter, त्याच्यानंतर फोर्थ आहे the depth of soil to impervious layers impervious layers, and the fifth is the amount of water already in the soil, and the last is soil temperature. Whenever there is maximum soil temperature, it may affect on the infiltration and movement of soil. The amount of already water availability in the soil means if it is already retained the soil water, so it may decrease, it may it may increase the infiltration and the movement. Then one more part, as I told you, depth of soils to impervious layers and pervious layers. Okay, so it is depth of soil to the impervious layers. आणि तुम्हाला सांगितल्याप्रमाणे the amount of organic matter, soil structure, and soil texture. So these are the few, what we may say, controlling factors, or the factors which may have few effects, okay, on the water infiltration and the movement. Water infiltration and movement. Okay. So one more part up from the soil, or the, what we may say, soil uh, degradation and all. Soil land degradation is also one of the phenomena. Land degradation, okay, in the soil. So there are two causes. Of it. Which are those two causes? First is the natural factor, second is the artificial factor, or also called as anthropogenic factor. ठीक आहे, हा एक पॉईंट त्याच्यामध्ये कव्हर झाला पाहिजे इन द सॉइल स्ट्रक्चर अँड कंपोजिशन विथ द सॉइल डिग्रेडेशन. What are the causes responsible for the degradation or the erosion of the soil? So there are two major factors. First is the natural factor, second is the anthropogenic factor or artificial factor. ठीक आहे, मी काय सांगतो लक्षात आलं का आतापर्यंत जे पॉइंट सांगितले? ठीक आहे,
हो सर, हो.
जर काही क्वेश्चन्स असतील जे आता तुम्हाला शब्द वापरले, जसे की परवियस इम्परवियस लेयर्स असतील, पोरोसिटी असेल, वॉटर होल्डिंग कॅपॅसिटी असेल, हे सिम्पल मिनिंग्स आहेत ह्या वर्ड्सच्या. सो we are talking now about the land degradation or soil degradation, which goes through the two important ways or the methods. ठीक है, so those two factors or causes are, number one is the natural factor, second is the artificial factor. First is the natural and second is the artificial. So natural factors, which may include major 4 points. Number one is the heavy rains. Simple heavy rains, okay, which wash out the soil particles from one place to the, it may carry to the next location. heavy rains, high speed winds. It is also one of the important point responsible for the erosion or the degradation of soil. High speed wind. Then one more or third factor is the natural disasters. Natural disasters. Okay. So it may include flooding, means flood. It may include landslides. Okay, landslides. It may include famines. It may also include famines, etc., etc. So these are the few natural disasters. Then next one is expansion of deserts. Next one is the expansion of deserts. Is one of the important point. Expansion of deserts. Okay. Then we'll move to the next part, that is about the anthropogenic factors. Anthropogenic factors. आता just will stop the recording. Recording.